Hi, good afternoon, Shauna Holt. And today is part one. I'm just going to kind of give you an overview um, of how to ditch or why to ditch artificial sweeteners. Now, do you use sugar-free sweeteners? Don't be afraid to comment, what you used below if you do actually use them. I'm just wanting everyone to be aware of the side effects and things that they don't tell you, that they don't want you to know, so that you'll keep buying their products. Artificial sweeteners have long been positioned as guilt-free and safe alternatives, but are they? I've been doing the research and I'm just ready to share with you what I found. I do have a sweet tooth, but one thing that I never grabbed onto, held my attention, was artificial sweeteners. To be honest though, it was just because they tasted nasty. I'd rather not eat it or drink it if I had, this terrible taste or an aftertaste. I don't know how many times I tried Diet Coke, but I was like, nope, not taking it. So, did you know that the first artificial sweetener was actually found by mistake? It was in a laboratory in Johns Hopkins University. Food preservatives were being tested and some spilled on a researcher's hand. And later that night, he had tasted sweetness on his hand and remembered that he had spilled it. Well, the sweetener was saccharin, and this was in the 1870s, and food manufacturers were trying to find a cheaper alternative to lowering manufacturing costs. Well, saccharin is 300 times sweeter than table sugar, so less of it could be used to sweeten food. And of course, that would lessen the cost of manufacturing products if they could use that instead of sugar. So it was added to many canned foods at the time, but about 5 years later, it was banned from being used in foods because they had done some research and had thought that it was causing something. So later, though, it was allowed back in because of a sugar shortage in World War I. Not long after that, the artificial sweetener industry took off, and more were created, but not without constant issues in safeness. Now, they would get deemed safe, and then unsafe, and then safe again. And, there are a ton of different artificial sweetener options, both for cutting down the cost and calories, but are they really safe? There is a lot of debate over this, but the real question is whether or not you want to take the chance on your life or your family's life while the debate is still ironed out. Now, I don't, so this week, that's why I'm covering this topic, because I see it come up a lot. People want to say, well, I'm going to just drink Diet Coke. And I'm like, I just kind of cringe because of everything that I've read about artificial sweeteners. So this week I'm going to be talking about each one and reasons why you should ditch them. Next week, I'm going to be giving you some natural alternatives and some strategies on how to make the transition away from these artificial sweeteners. And then the following week, we're going to have a challenge. It's going to be a cut the sugar challenge. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that. For the rest of this week, I will cover a different artificial sweetener each day, but there are a few things for you to keep in mind that kind of take all of them as kind of a summary. First of all, it's our responsibility to be aware of what we are consuming. This is what I'm going to help you with this week, is awareness. I'm not a doctor. I'm just bringing you this information that I've researched from reputable sources, and at times throughout the week I'll also share with you those sources that that I've kind of summarized for you so that you can read further into it if you would like. Number 2, sweeteners are not essential nutrients in our diet. They were created to save the food manufacturing industry money and give us an alternative for our sweet tooth with less calories. They're not by any means needed nutrients in our bodies. Real food is what our bodies need, not chemicals derived from a laboratory. Even though these artificial sweeteners have been approved by FDA, they still have these set ADI amounts for each individual one. So the ADI, by definition, is the maximum amount of a substance, whether it be a food additive or a pesticide residue, to which an individual can be exposed through either contact or intaking it on a daily basis over his or her lifespan. And they consider this lifespan 70 years without causing harmful effects. Now, of course, this was evaluated at the time that it was evaluated, so things change and find out and evolve over time. So keep that in mind, that there is a daily limit that they suggested. So if you are drinking, 4 or 5 Diet Cokes in one day, that is probably going to be over the daily limit that they suggest, and they don't have any tests on that length of time or that amount of usage. Number 3, some processed products found in the grocery store have a mixture of different sweeteners because of taste or cost to the consumer. And research that was conducted in allowing it to be deemed safe did not include mixing 2 or more of these together. So keep that in mind. Number 4, I don't have these numbers, so I'm like counting them. Some processed foods found in the, I did already say that, okay. There are no studies on long-term usage, nor have there been any testing on children or on pregnant women. So it's always best and suggested for pregnant women and children to avoid artificial sweeteners. Some studies have shown to actually disprove the theory that choosing artificial sweeteners or over table sugar will help you lose weight. So one particular study found that rats actually gained weight using saccharin or aspartame instead of using sugar. And then there were 2 different studies on youth that showed an increase in their BMIs if they drank diet soda. So even the research out there that having the diet version will not help you lose weight. So if you are looking at using these artificial sweeteners to lose weight, there is research out there that is being conducted or has been conducted disproving that some of these are even helpful with losing weight. So I'm going to be sharing the 4 worst artificial sweeteners deemed by many different sites with you each day this week. 1 each day. And these are aspartame, also known as Equal, NutraSweet, and Natritase Blue. Number 2 is sucralose, also known as Splenda. Number 3 is acesulfame, I'm butchering these words, acesulfame K, also known as Ace K, Sunette, Equal Spoonful, Sweet One, and Sweet and Safe. And then also saccharin, also known as Sweet and Low and Sweet Twin. So I hope this was helpful for you and that you'll join me tomorrow when I'll be discussing with you aspartame. I hope you have a great day.